Welcome back to CSM TV, and today we are working on the Colt. And it is sitting on the ground. Had to get the some new lights put in. Finally got somebody to get in here and get some new lights. And hopefully it shows up on camera that it is way brighter in here now. So finally, we had like 7 bulbs that were burnt out. I've been waiting forever to try to get lights in here. They wouldn't let me do them myself. So finally got it knocked out, but the Colt sitting on the ground, the Gallant, go over that in another video. But today we're going to be working on some suspension, doing rear coilovers on the Colt, doing some case sports. They look used, they're not, well, sort of. Matt had them on his white Colt. He went a different direction, so I ended up with these K-Sports that are the drag series for an all-wheel drive Talon. I'm going to put them on the Colt. Got actually some spacers from NatFab that we're going to have to put on as well. Go over the whole rear suspension of the Colt. It's already obviously been all-wheel drive swapped, so I want to kind of go over some of that stuff since we'll be under the car and be working on some rear end stuff. But first thing we got to do and take some measurements of where it's sitting now. Hopefully we can set up these coilovers to be close to the same height as what we got going on now. So take some measurements and we'll pop it in the air, get the old stuff off, and kind of go over that stuff. So let's go ahead and get to work. Who wants to watch me do something stupid? Okay, so these are the KYB AGX shocks in the back with a ground control coilover. They're a little, I don't like it because there's no helper spring. I can't preload it. So it kind of bangs around a little bit. They're 8-way adjustable, but we've messed with the adjustments before. And going with the shock data from these shock sensors, that they don't actually really do anything. So another reason to upgrade. We'll get these pulled off and kind of compare them to the new coilers we have with the extensions on there and kind of go over that. Another thing, just actually on my car, seems to be rubbing just a little bit right here. That's usually when the car starts to squat. You see there's a little bit of rubber there. It's kind of hard to see with this light. Yeah, so it's rubbing just slightly, so we want to get rid of that. I cut out all this bottom part for clearance, and it doesn't seem to be rubbing, but this guy hopefully will gain a little bit of space with that. So let's go ahead and get these old ones off and do a little comparison.
Hey, Aaron here. Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back to Fuck You. Look at this guy. Oh yeah, you've seen the new lights, have you?
I said they missed one, or they couldn't get one.
Oh, they've been back. Those sneaky fucks.
Sneaky bastards.
Okay, so we got the old shock out and the adapter. The adapter is actually attached to the spring, just like factory. We made these about, I don't know, 12 years ago. I think me and Matt made those when we all-wheel drive swapped the Colt the first time. We just used a piece of pipe and then another top hat to mount this up. You have to space those out to get the proper angle. Obviously, you can tell. To get the proper angle and to get a little extra length when you're using DSM stuff. DSM stuff's way shorter. So we got actually some spacers from NatFab that he started making for these cars. Nice welded in piece that bolts on. Nice bolt-in piece too, so you don't have to worry about swapping top hats if you need to change out the struts or anything. So we got that for the new coilovers that are going on. Nice pieces to bolt in. It comes with all the hardware and all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and toss one of these in and check it out. Okay, with that NatFab spacer in, see it's hanging just about right. A little bit low, of course. Gotta pull that back up. So see if we can get in there. Pretty much lined up right up with the nub there. Let's go ahead and finish this up and we can set her on the ground. Okay, before we put this thing on the ground, check it out. I wanted to go over the all-wheel drive swap and show you guys how I did it. So it uses all factory DSM parts, factory subframe, axles, rear end, trailing arm, control arms, all that stuff is factory. Basically just weld a couple bars in for the mounting and then got to cut some things out to make everything fit. So check out the top area first. Basically, you have to cut the floor out to cut the spare tire well. I've seen people only cut half of it out and leave the rest. I decided to cut it out and just make a full flat panel. So I can mount a fuel cell back here. And I got some structure under here that holds the cell, which I'll show you once we go underneath. Also, a couple years ago, did end up cutting the whole front floor out to make an access panel to get to some other bolts, just in case I need to. That was when I took the subframe out to redo some things. Makes it a lot easier, but it can get kind of weird with some classes, so don't know if I'd recommend that. So that we'll go ahead and go underneath and check out some of that stuff. Okay, so under the car, basically the subframe only needs 4 bolts to bolt everything in. This one right here, that guy, that one, and then the 2 on the other side, basically to bolt it in. So what we did was weld in some square tubing, this one, and then some more up there. I know you probably can't see that. We'll go check it here in a second. So we welded that in to bolt in the subframe. And this is just an aftermarket 1G DSM mustache bar. So that bolts in just like factory. And then we added some structure for the fuel cell. We added these bars here, these 2 guys, and then there's another one here just to hold the fuel cell. So everything cut out of the way makes things a lot easier. Up front, once again, another piece of square tubing here. This guy going all the way across. Makes it a little tricky with the drive shaft. I know I had some pretty bad angles at one point, but we changed that. We lowered the subframe down with some spacers. Had my buddy make some bushings. Those are a little thicker than some normal bushings that you can buy. So it spaced the whole thing down to get all of our drive shaft angles correct and within spec. Then off this bar, we welded a couple square tubing pieces to mount the carrier bearing. Made it an easy way to do it. So there's that. And we had some other I had some really janky mounts when I had a 3-piece drive shaft in, so it's nice to upgrade to the 2-piece and get rid of that. So yeah, that's the basic rundown. Like I said, these are all 1G DSM control arms. Like I said, nothing special that you have to buy. All aftermarket or off the shelf parts you can get, or you can use factory ones. You don't have to use this stuff. So with that, we'll go ahead and pull actually this floor piece out, maybe give you a better look. All right, the rear panel out of the way. Kind of see the structure that we welded in. This bar right there. Sorry, it's kind of hard to get to with the jungle gym and seats in. But yeah, just that bar goes all the way across. Welded in, everything bolted in. Easy, a lot easier to get to those bolts. And these rear end bolts here with that whole piece gone. So that's why I ended up cutting that out. But with that, we'll go ahead and get this thing on the ground and check it out, see how our ride height is. Let's see what we got. It's like about 26 7/8 or so. Let's see what we got on this side. And 26 7/8. Wow, that's lucky. That's awesome. So I think we're at actually a good height. I think that's at before, I believe, is about 27-ish inches with the car settled, which doesn't seem to need to settle much. But yeah, so I think that'll just need to tighten up the coilovers. Since we don't have to adjust them at all, we'll just go with that. May come down a hair. I don't know. We'll get some videos to see how bad it squats now. Hopefully it doesn't squat as much as it used to, this new setup. So we're gonna keep it short with this video. Just stick with the rear end stuff so anybody can come back and watch that video if they want, not get muddied up with anything else. So yeah, we'll call it good on this video, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.